Several years ago, I made a Does My Book Cover Suck website where it was basically a hot or not place you could upload your book cover and get votes, and then the highest or the lowest ranking book covers would show up so you could kind of see whether or not your book cover was good enough to publish with. That original tool is no longer around, but I just made a new version of it, which I think is pretty useful. So you can upload a book cover here and you'll get some real critical feedback of your book cover. I trained it on all my experience as a book cover designer. I'm going to upload one of my covers as a sample. And so now down here we get a rating of 8 out of 10 and some details about what's good or bad about the cover. This tends to be pretty specific and pretty close to what I would rate. If I was giving a 0 to 10 rating of a book cover, because I trained this myself and spent a long time on it, I think I agree with the rating that it gives. I don't always agree with all of the small specific details, but in general, I stand behind this rating. It's also true that book covers really just need to be good enough. I'm going to remove this book cover and I'll try one of my nonfiction book covers. So what I mean by good enough is, people will either get what the genre is about and want to learn more about the book because it seems like something they would want to read, or it does not communicate the genre. They don't know that it's a book that they want to read and they'll just move on. So it's kind of pass fail, like it works or it doesn't. So if you get less than a 5 or even like a 5 or 6, you might want to consider a stronger cover because your cover is probably fine but not really good enough. So this one actually gets a 9, which I don't know that it's a 9 cover. I have tested this mostly on ugly covers or poorly designed covers. So it won't always give you an 8 or a 9. If your cover really isn't very good, it'll tell you, it's a 4 or a 5 or maybe a 3. But it does struggle with the higher rating. So if it's a 7 to 10, for example, the variations of what it's rating for the numbers may not be entirely accurate because some of it is subjective. It's trained to focus on the commercial aspect. So it looks at, does it guess the right genre? I didn't point this out in my other book cover, which I should have. It'll guess your genre. If it doesn't guess the right genre, you have a big problem. Even if your cover is well designed, if it doesn't look like the topic that it guesses, you probably have an issue. I'm not going to play around more with this because I don't want to show off, other people's good or bad covers and then uh, have people get angry at me for calling their book covers ugly. I do want to add a gallery feature. I removed it for now because I want to see if people like this, but down at the bottom I had this feature where after you get your results, you could save it to the gallery. So if I was proud of my 9 out of 10, I could share it to the gallery, and then there would be a gallery feature where you would get some free promotion for your book cover and it would show the rating. That's basically so that other people can learn about book cover design and understand from this critique what they need to do or what they don't need to do. I do have a book about this. I have a lot of tutorials and training materials about book cover design. But this is just a free, easy way to get some quick feedback, especially if you're always posting. I see people post in Reddit or Facebook groups for feedback on their covers, and then people give them a lot of feedback and they go and change a few little things. Changing a few little things is probably not going to fix the main issues. If you're a 5 and below, you're probably going to need a total book cover redesign instead of just fixing the small details. But if you see someone with an ugly cover and you're trying to steer them towards, they need a better book cover design, you could point them out to this tool. They could play with it. That way it's some objective third-party critical feedback and you don't have to feel like you're telling them that their book cover is ugly. So this is up at diybookcovers.com/covercritic. It's also up at Does My Book Cover Suck, I think. Does My Cover Suck? That's the other version of it. I just put it on the old domain that I had. So it's pretty easy to find. You can use this tool and get some free critical feedback on your book cover. I hope it's useful. Thanks. Bye-bye.